Ooh, and we're live. A little delay there. I'd forgotten I had set. I'd lowered my volume when I was playing Final Fantasy earlier because I was watching something in the background while doing dailies. I was kind of confused for a moment when I lowered the loop, the music volume and brought up Final Fantasy. That sounds very quiet. But welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV and Sorin's Journey. Today we're moving into patch 5.5, Death Unto Dawn. Last stream was a bit of an eventful one and a bit of a long one. This one's probably also going to be relatively long because I do want to get through the whole patch. No, this does mean that next stream, which will be probably Friday, will be a bit shorter. But last time, Sorin returned here to the Rising Stones and ended up helping Alize with her search for a cure for tempering, and it worked. Gigu, was it? Where's it? Bagu? I get mixed up with all the kobold names. I think is it Bagu? Yeah. Alice's little kobold friend we cured of tempering, and then we cured one of the kobold patriarchs of tempering, and it seems that kind of the road to peace between the city-states and the beast tribes has been opened up, so hopefully that'll go somewhere. Though a thorn has kind of appeared in... Daniel showed up at the end to ruin everything and kind of declare war on the whole world, wanting to bring about the final days again. Which, well, let's check in and see if there's been any news. Alphino? Alize? Have we heard anything? Good news, Sorin. Picard and Urianger have finished their tour of Garlemald and are on their way back here even as we speak. And as we still haven't heard anything on the towers from the Alliance, I'm hoping they might be able to shed some light on things. They're due to arrive any moment now, so let's see what they have to say, eh? Right. Any news is... I don't know if it's good news, but it's more than we had. Bankard? Ah, welcoming party. You needn't have gone to the trouble. From what I hear, you've been more than busy enough as it is. Honestly, you might have waited for me to return before discovering a cure for tempering. As it is, I can't even pretend to have been involved. Well, if it's any consolation, I myself was little more than a spectator. The lion's share of the credit must go to Alize, Gohar, and Sorin. But I believe I speak for the rest of us when I say we are proud to have rendered what little assistance we could. As you will also have heard, though it hasn't all been tales of triumph. Just as we are taking a step towards finally addressing the primal threat, a pile of fresh problems landed in our laps. Anyways, it's good to have you back. Though I can't help noticing that we're one Urianger short of a scouting party. You haven't lost him, have you? Oh. I couldn't lose him if I tried. And I did try, repeatedly. But no, he decided to linger in Alamigo to apprise Roban and the others of how the land lies in Garlemald. Then mayhap you would do the same for us. Indeed. It was just as Lee said. Worse, in fact. Devastation as far as the eye could see. Nerva and the Furt, however, were notable by their absence. Might they have met their end at the hands of Xenos and Vandaniel? Perhaps. Or perhaps they simply lost the will to fight. Do you know something? You see, the capital has been plunged into a deathly silence, with one exception. The Imperial Palace. It was a busy place before the war, but it has grown busier still, with throngs of soldiers and civilians working there day and night to rebuild, or rather, transform it. Transform? Transform it? Into what? That is a difficult question to answer. The construction is vast and unsettling to behold, like something from a nightmare. According to Urianger, certain aspects of its design were clearly devised with the manipulation of ether in mind. Magitech, in other words. Yet, as unnerving as said edifice was, it was nothing next to the sight of its builders. They swarmed the place like so many insects, working with nary a word exchanged between them. No one overseeing construction, no one barking orders. It was as if they were possessed. Or tempered. We wanted to investigate more closely, but given our suspicions, it seemed wiser not to take the risk. Garlean's tempering? If Van Daniel could bind Bahamut to his will, might he have done the same to the people of Garlemald? Whatever the truth may be, this information is certain to prove valuable. You have our thanks. Indeed. Glad you got out of there okay if the situation's that bad. Well, be sure to save some for Urianger. Which reminds me, I have a message from Alamigo. Roban is hosting a meeting to discuss the latest findings on the towers, and he requested our presence. Then why not leave that to us? You must be weary from your mission. No, I'm fine. Those towers have been on my mind since I first spied one on the way back, and I'm keen to get to the bottom of this. In that case, I shall stay and begin looking into another matter, as I promised Kryl. We need not all attend. Very well. I suggest the rest of us make our way to Alamigo forthwith. And the sooner we leave, the more time we will have to speak with Urianger before the meeting. Right. Hopefully there's... I feel it's maybe naive to hope for good news. But at least I maybe hope for something helpful. Oh, hello Mooney. Welcome to the stream. So you're feeling a bit better today, I hear? I say I hear. You told me yourself. Excuse me? Urianger? It's good to see you again. My friends, much and more have I heard of your travails in our absence. Heartened am I to see you all hale and whole. As are we to see you safely returned from your mission, Urianger. I trust Thancred made you feel welcome. Is this... Arnvold? Wait, is it Arnvold? Am I misremembering names again? Oh well, if it isn't Alphino and his merry band. Oh, it is. Arnvold, whatever are you doing here? When we spoke via Link Pearl, you told me you'd be away on a mission. And who's to say this isn't part of it? But enough about that. It's good to see you looking so... similar. I thought you'd have grown a bit taller after a whole year in another world, but apparently not. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you. While my soul may be a year older, my body has hardly aged, as you are well aware. And may I remind you that we Ellison are known to be late bloomers, especially in terms of our height. Mark my words, the day will come when even a great orc such as yourself will crane your neck to meet my eye. At least it's good to see everyone seems not too worried. Aye, it was not until my 20th summer that I myself outgrew my boyish proportions, though Moonbreda towered over me nonetheless. Arvold brings out the best in Alphino, doesn't he? We both seem so at ease in each other's company. It's almost endearing. So, what exactly brings you here? Oh, Fordola mostly. We need to go over a few things before we set out. Set out? Wait, does this have something to do with the towers? Eh, what gave you that impression? Actually, tell me later. You've got a meeting to go to. I'll see you afterwards, alright? I believe that is someone trying to share a link. Let me just get rid of that. Okay. Another one dealt with. Well, at least I don't actually have to deal with the link showing up anymore. I managed to get that part of things fixed. If Fordola is going with him, that must mean... My apologies. As Arnvold rightly pointed out, we have a meeting to attend. Let us be about it. More and more I'm tempted to enable the option on Twitch that people aren't allowed to chat until they've been following me for at least 10 minutes.
Ere we begin, I would like to offer my gratitude to Masters Thancred and Urianger. Tis no small feat to infiltrate the Imperial capital and live to tell the tale, much less in times of civil war. Thanks to them, we may plot our course in full knowledge of how the winds blow in Garlemald.
Full glad are we to have been of service. But verily, such dangers as we did encounter pale into insignificance next to those faced by our comrades. An Ascian, armed with the might of Bahamut, bent on bringing about the final days.
Theatrix. He sought only to make a show of the power at the Telophoroid's disposal. But since then we have seen no sign of this Fandaniel or his worm. And while we've done what we can to bolster our defenses, there's no telling where he might strike next.
If it wasn't to declare an attack, why show up like that?
Whenever and wherever it may be, we must use the intervening time to learn more of our enemy. 'Twas with this in mind that we dispatched scouts to investigate the towers.
Right. Did we learn anything?
Our advance party took longer than expected to return. And when they did, they tried to kill us. Luckily, I'd seen that sort of thing before, and we were able to restrain them before they did any harm. Then it was just a matter of letting the Porksies do their work.
You mean they were tempered?
Are you saying they were tempered?
Once they'd come back to their senses, they told us everything they could. It seems that just as they were getting close to the tower, they heard an ear-splitting roar. And that was the last thing they remembered. But what worries me most is what they were saying right before they attacked. Glory be to Garlemald.
Then they're being tempered? An Imperial primal?
The Tempered have heretofore ever been thralls to primal entities. Yet these hapless souls were compelled to accept a nation as the object of their devotion. This calleth into question all that we know of the condition.
Right.
Would that the unsettling news ended there. Alas, there is more. Following the earlier reports of missing Amalja, we have learnt that other beast tribes have suffered similar losses.
They have?
And we now have reason to believe that the abductions are connected to the appearance of the towers.
What have you learned?
Our scouts sighted black-garbed figures leading shackled Ixal in the direction of the tower in Dravania. The Temple Knights were able to intercept them before they could reach their destination, liberating the Ixal and apprehending their captors, each of whom was found to be equipped with Garlean arms and armor.
So the Empire is the common thread.
Seems to
With the
be.
support of Xenos, it seems likely that Fandaniel has rallied a faction of the splintered Garlean army to the banner of the Telophoroi.
Lord Hien reached the same conclusion when I shared our findings with Doma. The plan had been to march on Garlemald from the east and west in order to force a peace treaty. But the situation has changed. Dealing with the threat of the towers must come first.
Right. But if they temper anyone who gets close...
Given the nature of the enemy and the proven risk of tempering, I could think of few suitable candidates to aid in this task. But I am confident in my choice.
Arnvold and Fordola.
What?
Robon couldn't be... They both have...
Resistant to primal influence as they are, they can investigate the towers without fear of being turned.
Arnvold has the Echo and Fordola has... what did Xenos call it? Resonance.
We are glad to put our gifts to use, Commander.
Gifted or not, going behind enemy lines remains a perilous undertaking. But we must know more if we're to strike back at our foe. I'm counting on you.
If it would give us the upper hand, I'd do it 100 times over. We won't let you down.
That concludes the briefing. You two, make ready and join your escort.
Commander,
Are you
could I-
certain about this, Arenvold?
I am. Come on, let's talk outside.
Can I not help with this at all? I've plenty of experience fighting primals after all. Hello, Fordola. It's been a while. Small talk you're after. Look elsewhere. Right. Of course. Arnvold? Now it's out in the open. I don't have to keep it under my proverbial hat anymore.
So you know, I've already gone through all the formalities at the Rising Stones. Made sure to inform Jamoldva and Vmar at Ralga's Reach as well.
Arenvold, I admire your enthusiasm, but this is far more dangerous than anything you have done before.
I know the risks. And I also know what's in store if we don't stop Fandaniel from carrying out his plan. With this power of mine, I can make a difference. If I stood idly by, I would regret it for the rest of my life.
And you, Fordola? Is this what you want?
What are you asking me for? It's not like I have any say in the matter.
Don't pretend. We both know Commander Eldin gave you a chance to refuse. And you didn't.
So the Empire's finished, is it? But that's what they're all saying. That the great and glorious Garlemald slit its own throat.
Ooh. Hopefully you don't end up in a similar situation that I was having recently. Where it starts happening pretty much every day. Getting random little outages.
And now, from out of its twitching carcass crawls the Telophoroi with bloody Xenos at its head! I fought for Garlemald. Killed for Garlemald. What was I part of? I need to know. Whatever it is, I need to know.
Very well. If your hearts are set on this, I shall not stand in your way.
It's kind of happening. Oh, ooh, that's rough.
If you've finished with your touching display of camaraderie, I have a question. Which tower are you planning to investigate, exactly?
There's one here just south of the city, isn't there?
Well, the one in Girabani is said to be tightly guarded. It's patrol after patrol out there, apparently. We'd be spotted before we got anywhere near it.
Right.
Which is why we've set our sights on the one in Pagalthan instead. There shouldn't be anything like as many Imperials to worry about down there.
I'm not...
Even so, I doubt the local Amalja will look kindly on it if they catch you sneaking around in their territory.
I guess that's in Fanland then.
Fordola and I had a chance to learn the lie of the land in our previous forays there. We might still find trouble, but at least we won't lose our way.
I happen to be friendly with a group of militia. I might be able to help make sure you get access. Or...
Well, we'd best not keep them waiting any longer.
Mayhap when all of this is over, we could take another trip to Loxeld. I would have you know I've become a rather capable swimmer since our last visit.
Ha! I'll believe that when I see it. Though, to be fair, getting into deep water does seem to be a scion's lot in life. Take care, eh? It means a lot, you know. You coming with me.
I'll still owe you for saving my skin, don't I? Can't return the favour if I'm not there.
I dare say you'll get your chance before long. That Fandaniel sounds like a tricky customer. Too much for the likes of me, anyway. But we both know I'd just be another soldier if it weren't for my gift. And I need to be a damn sight more than that given what's coming. I realise I can't hold a candle to a hero like the Warrior of Light, or Alphino for that matter. He might look like he's 12, but he's seen more action than most people see in a lifetime. No, the fact is I'm nothing like them, and maybe I never will be. But I'll be damned if I don't try. They're counting on me. On us. So let's give it our all.
Are involved. This was kind of like a confident moment. I felt like
conviction. That much is certain. So let us have faith in him. Him and Fordola both.
This felt like kind of like a positive, confident moment, like the first time going through it, but going through a second time in the story and seeing that scene, it hurts a little.
While they see to the towers, I would attend to another task. Chasing down this lunar Bahamut.
Right. Maybe we can deal with it before it attacks anywhere. Oh. Hello?
Ah, bloody thing. Can you hear me? It's Tataru.
Tataru?
I'm happy to say we've managed to find Estinian.
You found him?
And I'm sorry to say he went running off again the moment we told him about Bahamut.
Right.
But he did mutter something about heading to Ishgard, so if you're quick, you might still be able to catch him.
Right. That was Tataru. She found Estinian, but he ran off again.
Even if we set out this instant, he may already have left by the time we arrive. Have her send the Bonanza to Ishgard. It may prove useful should we need to give chase.
Right. Tataru, can you go ahead and send a Bonanza to Ishgard?
Gladly. I'll see to it as soon as Kryl and I get back to the Rising Stones. Good luck.
Thank you.
While you go off on your dragoon hunt, Urianger and I will return to headquarters. We have much to tell the others.
Right.
I wish you every success in your search for our elusive friend. May we all meet again ere long.
Right. Off to Ishgard again. So Estinian was bound for Ishgard. Whatever it is that brings him home, we must hope it will keep him there long enough for us to find him. Come, there's no time to lose. Right. I'll go ahead and teleport. Just not Eve, right? All present? Good. Let us split up and search for Estinian. Since we're new to the place, Gurha and I will look around the open spaces. Squares and markets and whatnot. You and Sorin can delve into the nooks and crannies. Very well. Let us reconvene at the airship landing later, with or without Estinian. Good luck. I think I shall begin at the Sky Steel Manufactory, so perhaps you could try the congregation. Lucia may well have heard news of our friend's return. I'll go and investigate. We were in time to catch him. Sir Handloop? Good evening to you, Warrior of Light. Lord Emmerich sent word that you would be attending the meeting in Alamigo. So I gather you have not come in search of him. To what then do we owe the pleasure of your visit? I'm actually looking for Estinian. I see. No, we were not aware Sir Estinian had returned to Ishgard. But as I expect you remember, he is wont to come and go as he pleases. Mayhap he came seeking an audience with Lord Emmerich, only to find him absent. In any event, I'm afraid I cannot help you. Perhaps one of your companions has fared better. Hopefully. Is Estinian be liable to travel by airship when he's leaving? We might catch him there if that's the case. Run, Alize. Did you find anything? Sir Estinian is every bit as elusive as Urianger suggested. So I'm guessing no luck here either. Alphino hasn't shown up yet, so maybe he's found him.
No sign of him. Not that I've ever met him before, but the way Alphino goes on about him, I'm fairly sure I could pick him out in a crowd.
Speaking of which, it does seem awfully quiet. If the erstwhile Azure Dragoon had returned to Ishgard, would it not be a source of general excitement?
It might be. From what I know, he's put away his usual armor, though. Maybe people don't recognize him as much in civilian wear. Oh.
First
Yes, we
the
found him.
Scion's Coinkeeper, and now you. I'm beginning to think these meetings are more than mere coincidence.
Good to see you too, Estinian.
Not that I'm complaining. It's been too long.
Too long?
You
Estinian?
look an ilm taller and twice as rugged. It suits you, Alphino.
Estinian? It's too late, isn't it?
Quieter, though. Have you been giving him lessons on how to be the strong, silent type?
You might want to...
I am not Alphino! If the two of you are such firm friends, perhaps you should remember what he looks like. And what do you mean, rugged? Ugh! Had my brother mentioned what an oaf you are, I'd never have bothered looking for you in the first place.
Sir Estinian, this is... Alize, Alphino's sister.
Estinian Wormblood, the Azure Dragoon. He who fought and felled the dread worm Nidhogg at the Warrior of Light's side. To think the day would come when I should see this living legend with my own eyes.
Graha?
Would someone mind explaining what is going on?
These are some more of my friends. I, maybe should have introduced them earlier.
Is everything all right? I thought I heard Alice.
Get it angry. I do enjoy this scene.
Estinian! It's been too long.
Alize huffing.
No, it's quite understandable. That was hardly the first time we've been confused for one another. Nor, I suspect, will it be the last.
Well, I, for one, will not be making that mistake again. What I will say, for the second time today, is that you've grown. Inside and out. I can tell.
One can't remain a spoiled little lordling forever, you know. At least someone's having a good time.
You okay,
when we were
Alize?
growing up, Alphino would never befriend other boys because he couldn't stand the thought of not being in charge. But maybe that's changed. He seems just as happy around Estinian as he does Arenvald.
Well, even compared to when I first knew him, Alphino definitely has grown. No, as much as I'm curious, I imagine Alice's reaction to that one, the bottom choice, is funny. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's kind of closest to what Sorin would say.
I wouldn't be so sure. He still loves nothing better than the sound of his own voice.
You can give him some slack, Alice.
No rest for the righteous, eh? Speaking of which, I was just on my way to borrow an airship to take me to Azisla.
Azisla?
Azisla? How could I forget? The dragon with whom Bahamut shared the deepest of bonds.
Wait, Tiamat. Right?
Aye, Tiamat, his mate. Even now she remains imprisoned on Azisla, though her remorse binds her faster than any shackle.
I see. As the one who first summoned Bahamut, you believe she may be able to shine some light on his latest incarnation.
That's right. She was responsible for summoning the first primal Bahamut.
Might I suggest that we make the journey to Azisla together? I'm not sure if Tataru mentioned this, but we Scions have an airship of our own now.
I see no reason why not. Assuming your sister can bear the thought of sharing a deck with me.
Be my guest. But confuse me with Alphino again and I'll throw you overboard.
I wouldn't assume she's joking either, Stydian.
Ugh! I don't know who he thinks he is, but he's nothing like Alphino painted him to be.
How?
I will admit, he is not exactly as I imagined him either. Based on what I had read of the man, I think I was expecting someone a little less blunt.
I don't know if I quite ever say that Stydian's eloquent with his speech. We never would have gotten through all that. The Dragonsong War without him. Right. At least we got dropped off at the right island. It has been quite some time since I last I set foot in Azisla, but I understand the three of you were here rather more recently. I don't suppose you chanced to meet with Tiamat during your visit. Alas not. We had no cause to set foot here into Delta Quadrant. But I have studied the relevant records, which is not to say I wouldn't appreciate a first-hand account of your dealings with her. Well then, Sorin's the person to ask. As far as I know, he's the only one of us to have met Tiamat face to face. Well, it wasn't a particularly long conversation, and even then I don't think she'd really have entertained me at all if it wasn't for Godstormer. And, he's not around anymore. Ah, yes, you were a friend of her father. I too have met with Tiamat. After the Dragonsong War came to a close, I came here to speak with her. A worm who had fought her own war against man in another age. I wish to know if she yet harbored thoughts of vengeance, and asked as much. She said no. My hatred for your kind was extinguished long ago. But the guilt she feels for resurrecting Bahamut burns on undimmed. It torments her, even now. I see. Then your original reason for coming here was out of concern that Tiamat had been forced to summon Bahamut. Nidhogg is a part of me. I feel his emotions as my own. I know that he would not allow his sister to be made a tool of evil. In his absence, it falls to me to watch over her. Alphinaud's not the only one who's changed. Stenian's definitely not the same Azure Dragoon that I first met. Tiamat awaits. This way. Right. She is. Tiamat? My sire's mortal companion, what bringeth thee back to this forsaken place, child of man?
It's plain she knows naught of recent events. Perhaps you should enlighten her.
Right. Well, there's been a lot that's happened. That my sins should be repeated. I sensed not the faintest stirring. As to who could have called him forth, I know of none save the dragons of Mericidia. Our children. Children? The Icon claimed their souls when first he manifested, and robbed of their will, they became tools for the Allagan's dark designs.
Much like those held here in Asislar. If dragons who worship Bahamut are required to summon him, that must mean...
The Empire's taken the dragons prisoners? Yes. The dragons of Mericidia are at the mercy of this Ascian. There can be no other explanation. Accursed Ascians! Vile minions of darkness! Again you would profane the memory of my beloved, and strip our children of their freedom, their dignity. Are there no depths to which you will not stoop?
Your children's pain means nothing to them. They laugh at your kind suffering. But tears will not right this wrong, nor will lamentation see the perpetrators punished.
What wouldst thou have from me, slayer of dragons?
Behavior befitting a great worm. We came here to ask mighty Tiamat of the First Brood, consort of Bahamut, mother of the dragons of Mericidia, what she intends to do about the crimes committed against her children.
Were I free, I would answer thine insolence with fire. But words shall have to suffice. Recall, mortals, that it was I who did first summon my beloved, praying with all my being to bring him forth. You who contend with icons cannot well be ignorant of the consequence.
You too were exposed to his influence. That you are yet in possession of your own will is testament to the indomitable strength of your soul. But were you to meet with Bahamut again, you fear you might succumb.
Indeed. Ask the Dragon Slayer, and he will tell thee the power we of the First Brood wield. Were I to lose myself to the Icon's influence, all would pay the price. But it is of little matter, for even had I the strength to resist, I yet lack the strength to break my shackles. This prison shall be my tomb. Still seems...
On the matter of Bahamut's influence, at least, I believe we can be of some assistance.
Alizé, do you think the treatment
If you're
still
afraid
work?
of being enthralled, don't be.
Check
We
me.
have a cure.
Of all the...
While we've never tried it on one such as you...
How do you always pick these times to show up to my stream, Sapphire? Every time you show up, it's always you manage to find something to give you material. But anyway, welcome to the stream. Speakest thou in earnest?
There is no future for those bound to the past. That you committed a terrible sin, I do not dispute. But if you feel remorse, you may yet make amends. We offer you that chance. Take it, or you will forever remain a prisoner, not of these cruel shackles, but of your own guilt.
A chance to make amends. To lay Bahamut's memory to rest. Missing context here is it's not. It wasn't Bahamut who put Tiamat into prison. Not physically. I guess mentally, perhaps. When our star faced annihilation, Hydaelyn granted us sanctuary, and now your foes would bring about her destruction. This I cannot allow. For the debt I owe to Hydaelyn, and to all who have suffered for my sins, I shall fight with you, children of man. Right. Well, let's find a way to break the prison. Raha, can I assume you understand how this works? Yeah, as Jaya's voice is a little underwhelming for a great worm. But I suppose maybe there you can kind of chalk it up to, well, Tiamat's imprisoned. It's not like she's being like drained of her energy constantly the way Azhdaya is. Her power. Oh boy. While Porxies have been shown to be effective in curing the tempered, Tiamat must be considered a special case. She is far, far larger and immeasurably more powerful than any subject treated thus far. Were we to remove her restraints only to find that the process had failed, we would be hard-pressed to contain her. Then, before going ahead, we should learn as much as we can about the exact nature of her condition. Do you suppose we can find that information here? Why, yes. Yeah, we can. We can indeed. The Alligans kept detailed records on all of their notable captives, and I know exactly where to look. We shall leave that to you, then. In the meantime, the rest of us can turn our thoughts to the removal of those shackles. Right. I know Alphino and Sorin here well enough, but not you. Are you certain you're ready to see this through? Believe me, Estinian, we can trust him. Rest assured, Sir Estinian, that I am both ready and willing to give my all for the sake of this star. Though that is not my only reason for wanting to set Tiamat free. While I do not claim to know all of her sorrows, I too once found myself in a prison of despair. And I well understand how hard it can be to dare to dream of escape. It took the encouragement of braver souls than I am to make me take that first step towards a brighter future. And now I would help Tiamat do the same. I gather you're not as young as you look. He certainly isn't. Mayhap when our work here is done, we could trade tales over a pot of Tataru's famous tea. And be indebted to her for the leaves and hot water? I think not. I see. Returning swiftly to the task at hand, then. I believe the nodes governing Tiamat's restraints are located in the sector known as the Flagship. Ah, yes, we are familiar with it. The Aerochemical Research Facility in particular. Oh, you may wish to take this. A spirit vessel, containing a small amount of my blood. Is this, I guess, to access Alligan systems? Which you just happen to be carrying around with you. I suppose that could seem rather odd. To explain, Rambros, Urianji, and I are researching the use of spirit vessels and the transference not only of memories, but the traits of certain bloodlines. And so I kept one at the ready should an opportunity to test our theories arise. As for its use to you, you may recall that during our previous visit, the nodes here granted access to restricted functions, having identified me as being of royal blood. And armed with that spirit vessel, I posit that they will do the same for you, even in the absence of, well, the rest of me. It seemed worth a try, at least. Agreed. We'll take good care of it. To the flagship, then. Right. I suppose that's where all the restraints for the Warring Triad were. So, I guess I wouldn't be surprised if that's where they controlled Tiamat's security from as well. Right. Right. So what's the plan? Let us split up and search the flagship for the node that controls Tiamat's restraints. But should you find a likely candidate, do not be tempted to make any adjustments. It would not do to accidentally release some manner of experimental monstrosity, nor less Tiamat herself in her current state. Our objective at this stage is simply to identify the relevant node or nodes. Once we've learned what we can, we should reconvene and compare notes prior to proceeding. Alright, so just scouting. I can manage that. There's one node. Excuse me. Friction between metallic components detected. Temperature increasing to critical levels. Please replace damaged parts or retreat to a safe distance. Safe distance? Guess that one's not doing so well. But hopefully it's not the one we need. Beep boop. Warning. Scheduled dragon restraint maintenance due in negative 2020 years. Failure to verify system integrity may result in unscheduled specimen release. That sounds like it might be relevant. Mentioned dragon restraints. Should I maybe check the upper level? Analyze the bit findings to hold a literal world leader without messing up. What's the worst that could happen? There's another one. Excuse me. Your data link with Delta Quadrant broken. Possible cause: intruder interference. Advise deployment of automated combat units. Proceed. No deploying additional combat units, please. Rather not offer Alize and Graha with whatever kind of security measures it might throw at them. I think that one, the green one I found, seems like a good bet. Alphino, Estinian, did you find anything? I'm afraid, Estinian, I have little to show for our efforts. Did you find anything? I found a way to activate mechanical sentries, if that's any help. There was one I found. It did talk about dragon restraints. Spontaneously, you say? Well, that does sound promising. Almost suspiciously so, in fact. But then you were in possession of the spirit vessel. I dare say it is indeed the node of which Graha spoke. And it was chirping, you say? Very well. Let us take a closer look. Right. Hopefully this is the one we need. Otherwise, I guess we just check out a different area of the flagship. But this trial and error could end up taking time if that's the case. Do you wish to operate the dragon restraint mechanisms? Yes. Beep boop. You do not have the requisite access privileges. Operation of the dragon restraint mechanisms may only be undertaken by the chief technologist and members of the royal family. Or those of a vessel full of royal blood, perhaps. Right, let's give it a try. What if I am a member of the royal family? I've got the blood for it. New user detected. Commencing biometric authentication. Boop. Authentication complete. User identified as member of the royal family. Please state your name. I thought the options were going to come up with, like, actual, like, members of who I know to be Allagan royalty, like Zande. Yes. As much as I'm feel there's comedy responses here, Sorin wouldn't be joking. Please activate Windows 11. Please activate Windows 99. Why stop at 11? Sorin Sherwood. Welcome, Sorin Sherwood. You may operate the dragon restraint mechanisms when ready. Beep boop. Error. Unable to disengage restraints of the specimen. Tiamat. A system update is required. We didn't upgrade to Windows 11. System update? What do you suppose it is asking of us? Smash it to pieces is that's what it's asking for. How many milliseconds did it take for you to decide that that was Ceri's response? Because I imagine it was a very quick decision. I could guess, I suppose it's maybe just old. Well, that's more than I can say. Confounded bloody thing. User agitation detected. Initiating guidance program. In order to operate the restraint mechanism, I require access to the central control system. However, I am unable to establish a link to said system due to the obsolescence of my own software. This issue can be resolved by applying a system update using the corresponding terminal located within the flagship. So can this thing release the restraints or not? I'm not saying Ceri's dumb, money. I'm just kind of thinking, like, is that not... I kind of could imagine her, like, going with the more aggressive response. Northern subscription has expired. You may be vulnerable to mal. Seems to be what the note is telling us. It can, but only once it has received the requisite system update, as far as I can tell. Until which time it'll float there spewing nonsense. User dissatisfaction detected. Initiating placation protocols. Beep. I am here to help. Rest assured that I will be on hand to guide you through every step of the system update process. Yeah, giving electrons a good whack, is it? What's that called? A percussive maintenance, isn't it called? That's actually there's actually one of the feats you can get in Starfinder. I don't think it's in the core rulebook, but one of the feats you can get for your character is percussive maintenance, that I think lets you make strength checks to repair machines. How gratifying. But I dare say we will fare better with guidance than without it. Right. I certainly can't say I know exactly what I'm doing here. It can detect when you're dissatisfied. Just because it looks like a bead, Sapphire. Boop. Guiding user to terminal. This way, please. Right, so hopefully this is just follow it to a terminal, press some buttons, and that's it fixed, right? Is this the one? Access granted to user Sorin Sherwood and his adolescent Ellison companion. Master Sherwood's other companion is deemed a potential risk to safe operation and has been denied access privileges until further notice. Are you okay with that, Astillion? Don't look at me. This is a task for you and Alphino. Right. So, what am I doing here? Let's see. According to the terminal, the central control system is presently employing a software version 56.135. Dare I ask which version you are employing? Why, software version 42.002, of course. Beep, boop. Warning. Errors detected in the data management system. Estimated time required for updates. 5 years, 1 day. That sounds inconvenient. I don't think we have 5 years. That is rather longer than we're hoping. Aren't there any other options? For instance, using this terminal to operate Tiamat's restraints instead. Oop. The proposed method is indeed an option. Please be warned, however, that the procedure may have changed as a result of the system update, and my instructions may no longer be accurate. Well, I can't imagine it will have changed all that much. As long as we pay due attention to any discrepancies, I dare say we shall be able to muddle our way through. Don't bother trying to explain. Just tell me if we've made any progress. I would say so, yes. It does, however, require that I remain here to operate the terminal. I shall inform you via link pearl once I am ready to release the shackles. Imagine there being a power outage in the middle of all those updates. Yeah. No. Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, Azazla has been stable for what, 2,000 years? So you'd kind of hope that it could last 5 more. It might be best if you left the spirit vessel with me. I may yet have use for it. Rest assured I will be certain to return it to Grahatia once this is over. Right. I suppose you can make more use of it than I can at this point. Just a little more work and Tiamat will be free. But before we go any further, there's something I would know. When Tiamat and her kin fought against the Algan Empire, both sides were but dancing to the tune of the Ascians. And it was the same in Ishgard, where they stoked the fires of conflict between man and dragon from the shadows. All that the Ascians touch turns to ash, and thus have you made it your mission to fight them. But there have been times when you tried to reach out to them instead, to find common ground. And so I must ask, what do you intend to do with Van Daniel? Will you try and reach out to him too? I feel I need to at least try and... I made a promise to Emmett Self. Not just to remember him, to remember all of them. I can't remember him if I don't at least try to figure out who he is. That's why you don't pit the fate of the realms on Donzel. I see a little point in reasoning with the wretch, or remembering him for that matter. But perhaps that's the difference between you and me. You see the good in people, even if it be but the faintest glimmer. I only hope you do not come to rue your benevolence. You think us unwise for viewing the world thus? Far from it. That has ever been your way, as I learned when we journeyed together with Iceheart. Yet the fact remains that there are some who view compassion as a weakness to be exploited. There may come a time when you extend a hand of friendship, only to wish that you had dealt the killing blow. So, save your mercy for those who deserve it. I'll keep that in mind, Destiny. Well, we should be getting back to our task. If Alphino has things in hand here, I suggest we rejoin the others. Well, I'll leave this to you. Speaking of fiber, though, I'm still looking forward to apparently the house. Well, not just my house, but the whole like postcode I'm in is due for. We're on the list to get updated to having fiber optic broadband coming straight to the house. At the moment, I think we have our fiber optic. It goes to our local. What's it called? We have a green box on the side of the road. I cannot remember for the life of me what it's called. I want to say a relay, but I know it's not a relay. But yeah, we have fiber optic to the relay, and then from the relay, I don't know what it might still be. Just copper cable? I don't know quite what it is. I see you've got Angelo ready. Estinian told me all as well, but nothing more. Honestly, it's like getting blood out of a stone with him. I take it from Alphino's absence that he's needed elsewhere. There were some complications with restraints, but we think we've got it sorted. Well, that all sounds rather frustrating. But you got there in the end. While you were off talking to nodes, Graha and I were learning as much as we could about Tiamat's condition. You hear how the engineer managed? Oh yeah, I think I had heard about that. The guy who who found a way to like turbo overclock fiber cable. Like 301 terabytes a second. That is mad. I mean, I also think like 301 terabytes a second internet, like that's probably, I think in a lot of cases that would be fairly useless to most people though, wouldn't it? Because I imagine 301 terabytes a second is significantly above the read-write speed that most computers have. Yeah, when I first saw a YouTube short about it, I thought it was just kind of an exaggeration or kind of a fake story or something like that. 14 download. I mean, what game does it? What game wouldn't at that stage? Like 301 terabytes. That's the entire. That's. Let me do my maths. That's like that's 30 times the maximum possible storage of my computer, including the operating system and all the fundamental files. 10 times over. Not even 10 times over. 30 times over in 1 second. I think my PC has all to get. Wait. Yeah, my PC itself has, I think, 6 terabytes of storage. And then I have a 4 terabyte external drive. So I've got about 10 terabytes altogether. And to be fair, like, I don't... Yeah, I think that'll do me for a while. I remember I had a viewer come on when I was playing Persona 4 Arena who was talking about how you could build, using micro SDs and linking them together, you could make a hard drive which could fit in a normal computer fine, but was like a couple of petabytes of memory. But yeah, once you get to that stage, for I think like civilian use, you really don't need petabytes. So, what did you find out? Our readings confirmed that her ethereal balance leans strongly towards the umbral, as was the case with the kobolds. Therefore, all other things being equal, the treatment should work. The difficulty lies in the sheer quantity of ether with which we must contend. Multiple applications of the treatment will inevitably be required if we are to reverse the effects of the tempering completely. Meaning, I'll need all the ether I can get. Thank you in advance. Are you going to be okay? I know even for that one kobold, you needed an awful lot. Although this endeavor will ask much of us, we do have one reason to be optimistic. Namely, that Tiamat shows no signs of fanatical devotion, suggesting a milder case of tempering than that suffered by the kobolds. That is a point. Tiamat saw Bahamut as an equal rather than a god. Might that have made a difference? Now that you mention it, it very well might. She would not have believed it necessary to defer to his will. But enough talk. It's time to put our theories to the proof. Tell Alphino to disengage the restraint's ethereal dampers. I'm counting on you, Angelo. We've seen this work before. It's just on a bigger target this time. Ah, such warmth. The frost that shroudeth my soul doth begin to fall. But what are these? Visions of days long forgotten, of war with the men of Alag. Wherefore do such baleful memories return to me now? Could it be that the process of restoring her soul to its pre-tempered state is awakening ancient memories? Or might the opposite be true? If so, by helping her to recall the past, we may be able to speed her recovery. Sorin, she trusts you. Speak to her. Ask her to tell you of times past. Right. Tiamat? Did you tell me about Bahamut? The Bahamut you knew. Ah, Bahamut. My beloved. Would that the peace we found in Mericidia could have lasted for eternity. But alas, it was not to be. The Ascians saw to that. In all creation I know none more wicked. It was at their behest that the men of Alag first came unto Mericidia, unto our home. The tale began when Bahamut and I left our father's side. We took wing in search of a place to make our eyrie. Beyond the Southern Ocean, we discovered a lush and fertile land. It would come to be known as Mericidia by the children of men, though many years were to pass before they crossed the sea. Upon our arrival, we were welcomed by the peaceful people of the forest, kin to the trees. Surrounded by nature's bounty, Bahamut and I had found place to raise our young. I wonder if those were Sephiroth's worshippers. Fascinating. This correlates with the writings of the Sharlayan scholar Arusha. She posits that man first settled on the southern continent towards the end of the Second Astral Era. Correctly, it would appear. If only she were with us to hear the tale from Tiamat herself. Baby dragons are cute. Little dragonettes. Again, Angelo. When first the children of man arrived on our shores, no foot did they set in those places over which we held dominion. Such was their fear of dragonkind. And as they kept their distance, so did we let them be. There's some oh, I get that reference, Sapphire. Oh, that's... It has been a long time since I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Yet, as the days went by, ship after ship appeared on the horizon, bearing ever more of their brethren, who divided the vast land among themselves. For a time they knew peace and prosperity, but as their numbers grew, the smaller their share came to seem. And soon they began to covet the territory of their fellows. Ere long, man fought man. Blood was answered with blood, and none could see an end to the strife. Until one day, they came to us. Recognizing our wisdom, they entreated us to intercede in their conflicts. Bahamut agreed, and with him presiding over the affairs of men, the land knew peace once more. Alas, those golden days of harmony too were fated to end. For the men of Alag slew my beloved, and I, in my rage and sorrow, heeded the envenomed words of the Ascians. The rest thou knowest only too well. Alice? Are you okay? But your tale doesn't have to end there. When you're free, we'll rid the world of the Asians together. You and your beloved will have justice. Fine sentiments, but you're almost spent. I'll keep watch from above. If the treatment fails, run. It won't fail. Thanks for the vote of confidence. I swear, when this is over... keep going, Alice. The magic is working. Do you need ether? Excuse me. Well, I knew this wasn't going to be easy. No patient could have prepared me for treating a great worm. But we're close. I can feel it. And while I've only got a few more drops of ether left to give, with yours and Graha's, this will work. Then I believe I speak for both of us when I say you may take as much as you require. Careful. I might hold you to that. Alright. Here I go. Alright. I've seen this work before. It'll work again.
No! I'm almost there!
Like we said, take as much as you need.
This is it, Angelo!
Did it? Yes, I feel it. The icon's grip groweth weak.
Did it work?
Sounds like it.
We won't know for certain until the shackles are removed.
Stinian? It's time. Hopefully Alphino figured this out. Answer me this, children of man. Can my kindred be saved in like manner?
Many have been subjected to the Allagan's dark arts, their flesh irrevocably altered. For such tortured souls, I fear there can be no salvation.
That's... my children. Should you hearken unto my call, we shall fly together once more. But should you not, I shall grant you peace. Better to die than live as a tool of evil. You too would wish this, I know. And I shall do as I must.
When that time comes, you won't be alone. We'll stand by you.
Thou hast my gratitude, little one.
Alphino's ready. It's time.
All right.
Do it. And let's hope the treatment worked as it should.
It did. Don't worry. That's right. Well, it worked. Bahamut, my beloved. For vengeance and atonement, I rise.
By the gods!
Worked.
Urianger, your timing could not be better.
Urianger? What news?
Understood, we're on our way.
Graha?
It's Bahamut. He's been sighted over Pagalthan.
Do they know we're trying to investigate?
He flies for the largest Amalta settlement in the region, at the head of a vast host, including dragons.
Then...
Did you hear all that, Alphino? You'd best rejoin your comrades. I'll make my own way. Our enemy awaits. Shall we?
It's... Estinian? I, guess we'll see him there? I'll be fine. Plenty of time to recover on the airship. Right. Well, I'm sure you're desperate to join Estinian and Tiamat in battle. It would be wiser to gather the full strength of the Scions first. The foe we face demands no less. Right. Are we meeting back at the Rising Stones, or... at the site? I've already sent word to the others. We are to rendezvous in Ul'dah at the Hall of Flames. Let us collect Alphino and be on our way. Right. Hopefully we'll make it in time. The empty prison. Do I get teleport immediately to Ul'dah, or do I need to teleport myself? Oh no, yep. I felt the loading time implied a quick teleportation. So, what's the situation? Well, I know some of you could do with a rest, but I'm sorry to say the Telophoroi have other plans. Pagalthan is already under siege. And should we get out there? Happily, the Immortal Flames arrived just in time to join the defensive effort, with Marshal Terrapin at their head. Want to be involved? Is that denial I hear there, Sapphire? That I sense in your tone? Well now, given the failure of the peace negotiations, I was uncertain how the Sultanate would respond. 'Tis good to hear that Ul'dah has not abandoned the Amalta. Abandoned? Who's this speaking? Is this... Pippin? Abandoned them. Did we not profess to be their friends? Oh. Nope, that's the Sultana. Completely wrong voice. Your Grace. Your Grace. Marshal Tarapin has made provisions for such an exigency and was ready to depart at a moment's notice. All that was required was the agreement of the Syndicate, each of whom voted in favor of intervention. Nor is Ul'dah alone in its resolve. The other Alliance nations have likewise dispatched their troops to Pagalfan. Yet even with our combined strength we shall be sorely tested, for we face not only the might of an Imperial Legion, but Lunar Bahamut and his draconic horde besides. Tiamat's children. Fight as we may, victory is by no means assured. But not all of the omens are grim. Our forces report that despite their proximity to Lunar Bahamut, none of the Amalja show any signs of tempering. Strange. What primal would turn down a chance to claim new thralls? Money, have you... I feel you're not as familiar with Sapphire as you might think. If you think this is her being increasingly sus. Unless it is incapable of doing so. Primals are not wont to serve a master, Ascian or otherwise. It may be that Lunar Bahamut differs in some fundamental manner from those we have previously encountered. Oh, yeah, no. Well, to be fair, Sapphire doesn't show up too much on my streams, but I've seen enough of Sapphire's streams to know how she is outside of Discord. If that were true, anyone could fight him, and Sorin and others like him wouldn't have to shoulder the burden alone. You're the lucky one that I get to see the punch. So better you than me anyway. Fair enough. God. It's established you enjoy seeing me uncomfortable. Be that as it may, Lunar Bahamut remains an incalculably powerful foe whom our soldiers will struggle to best through mere force of arms. With the aid of the Scions, however, I believe they will fare rather better. Assuming, that is, you are ready to take to the field. An airship awaits to bear you to the front. Pray set forth as soon as you are able. Reggae and okay, you're moving into territory I do not get. Sapphire. My Yu-Gi-Oh knowledge is limited. I know Mirror Force at least. I, meanwhile, shall continue to coordinate our forces. Till next we meet, may the 12 bless and keep you. It was kind of her to speak with us personally. You may be certain she has no shortage of other responsibilities. Well, I for one am inclined to do as Her Grace requests. Lest we forget, our involvement for Dolar and Pagalfan on reconnaissance. The sooner we save the day, the better their chances. What a greed. Yeah, I get that's the one I do get, definitely. I don't think you even need to know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh to know about Pot of Greed. Indeed. To the airship then. Alright. Down to the A1st minute. Hello, Frog Santa. Airship landing. There we go. sir. Greetings. We've been expecting you. Let's say the word and we shall depart for Pagelfan at once. Pagelfan now accessible. Alrighty. Who to bring? I have to bring the twins along, and you know,
stand ever ready.
We need to bring Graha along on an adventure. He missed out on the last one. Oh, durability of my gear is low. It's probably good enough, right? I didn't get the notification last time I entered a dungeon. Personal twins. Sapphire, they're, I think, if I remember correctly, they're 14. You might not want to make that reference. Oh. That's Tiamat. Asian vermin, you shall torment my children no longer. Right. They've got the sky, we've got the ground. Pagelfan music is pretty good. What's the... oh yeah, just use Zama's earrings. Ah, well, they're 30%. They'll survive. Where's my... We must have faith in Arenvold and Fordola. Guys, my job to deal with. Get the camera away from the Amalja. Foreground's not filled with unrelated battle noises.
You underestimate me.
One, two, three. On to the next. Oh, too late. Just keep pressing on, save who we can. Oh. What is the Imperials and Dragons working together? What's another one? That's a pretty big one. Oh. Is this one left? All right. Kobolds. Help us here. I guess the Admiral's peace talks must be going fairly well. I was expecting other beast tribes to be helping us here. Holy Circle isn't quite as bad as White Mage's Holy, but it's still a little... I wish the flash wasn't quite so bright. Ooh. Here we go. All right. There's more of them. That's a kobold cannon. Didn't expect we'd have that kind of support here. Yeah, I suppose that's kind of canon, isn't it? That as far as we know, the only canon relationship between a dragon and a human, that's how it went. Yeah, dragons kind of just like split off part of their ether, don't they? And kind of form it into an egg. Good work, as always. The kobolds have proven to be staunch allies indeed. I knew they would be. It's fast. Not fast enough. Let's try this out. Out of the way. Was that just your AoE? Yes, it is.
You underestimate me.
It's been a while since I've gotten this dungeon. Oh. Oh. Ah, don't run away from me. Not as detailed as you would want, Sapphire. That's all I can say. Oh. That was convenient. Just because it's not to your taste. Alright. What's the record cost? Oh yeah, 600.
Let's give them a show.
Oh, oops, I've been wasting. A little further. Here we go. In death, may you find a peace you were denied in life. This tower. Actually fairly close at this point.
What took you so long?
Don't complain, Estinian.
The are in trouble. Let's split up.
Oh. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, when you did a question. Yeah, I was about to say, it's not like... Yeah, because as far as I know, like, Final Fantasy XIV dragons aren't like... D&D dragons, which can shapeshift. So I suppose even in D&D, I think it's only certain types of dragons? Wait, is it all I'm trying to remember that now. Is it all metallic dragons, or is it just... I know for a fact silver dragons can shapeshift into humanoid forms. I never checked if Starfinder dragons have shapeshifting abilities. Nearly done. What's the next group? Emmerich, Lucia. Nishguard's come to the help. This reminds me almost of the Battle of the Gimlet Dark. Seeing everyone together like this again. Right. This is an Malta village. Oh. Thank you, Estinian. It seems Estinian's good for something after all. As you should well know, have you been ignoring my tales of his exploits? I think she might have been a little bit Alphano. Oh, this does not seem good. Oh, that's a paragraph. Technically all dragons can, but... Yeah, I suppose that makes sense, because as far as like metallic dragons, at least like silver dragons are definitely one of the more amenable dragons, easier to get along with. I know that's one of the indie... Oh, which... I can't remember what book it is. But they're one of the D&D books that gives you kind of the... Did I miss a... Oh, I did. Yeah, treasure coffer. one of the D&D books that gives you a... what do you call it? Yeah, like the background, the character like backstory generator. There's kind of there's a section in it for twists, and I remember one of them being that your spouse is secretly a silver dragon. Oh, out of the way. What is... It's definitely one of the larger Magitech contraptions I've seen the Empire deploy. Four of them. The middle.
Stubborn.
You see one? Yeah, it's not a natural ability of his. Oh. Off to the side. Oh, careful. Cool. This battle is definitely a bit slower with NPCs. Right. Oh. Here we go. Missiles again. Another wave of reinforcements. That's not good. It would be nice if NPC companions knew better about using their AoE attacks. Alright, let's try this again. We did it. Oh, my goodness. I do hope there aren't any more of those. So NPCs are going to see everything. Well, I mean, to be fair, they do... They're slow, but they do know mechanics. Which is fairly useful. Sometimes their pathing in like non-boss areas can lead them to getting hit by AoEs though. I've noticed a few times. Yeah. They've got experience, but just they don't level their gear. That's what's happening. I'm still kind of feeling impressed with the healer I was with earlier. Because I was DPS at the time. And had been able to go through an entire... Dragons. Well... So we're going. Tower. I recognize that ether. Bahamut. Bahamut's here? But yeah, playing the dungeon earlier where I got to actually DPS as a tank and the healer, well, no, tank as a DPS and the healer was comfortable enough with and effective enough at doing it. Right. Oh, Bahamut. Got this. Doesn't look like there's much else between us and the tower then. With any luck, make sure Bahamut's attention's on us. Drag him back into ground where he belongs. Eorgia has had quite enough of Bahamut, I think. There he is. Telotherium, Lunar Bahamut. Tiamat? Tiamat? I'll be okay. Just have to finish the fight. This is not Bahamut. Just a poor imitation. Imitation or no, we would be fools to underestimate it. Ow. Ooh. This attack confused me. I got really badly messed up by this attack the first time I did this dungeon. Together.
Leave the healing to me.
Ow. I thought I dodged that.
Stubborn.
We've got this. Oh yeah, this one, middle is safe? That's... well. It works. Mitigation is mitigation. Together.
You underestimate me!
Hey. Ow. Still alive. This is middle not safe. I don't like how close to that Alize and Graha were standing. And it's like the bully spellcaster for the AoEs, you see. Yeah, as a spellcaster it can be, especially Black Mage, suffers with it. We did it! We took down Lunar Bahamut. Tiamat seems okay. children of man, the shade of my beloved is no more, and I shall be forever in your debt. By your deeds are we set free, and free we shall remain, as long as I draw breath. Never again shall the dragons of Mercidia hearken to the lies of the Asians. This I vow. Thank you, Tiamat.
Noble warriors, the dragons chose their friends well.
You...
Long have our peoples waged war, but no more. Your fallen lie beside our own. By our words and deeds shall we honor their sacrifice.
Thank you. We would be proud to call you allies. Oh, I'll see you around, Minnie.
The enemy of our enemy.
I might still be streaming by the time you're finished, depending on just how big an order it is.
And you have proven yourselves worthy of our trust. It is the Garleans who are deserving of our fury. I shall see that my brethren learn the truth of this day, and rally as many as possible to the cause, till we meet again.
All this final days.
And thus did we make allies of the Amalja.
Found Daniel stuff, whatever he's got planned. Excluding that, things do seem to be looking up for the future of Eorzea.
It would certainly seem that way. The Sultana will be pleased. Let's go and give her the good news, shall we?
Right. Sometime earlier, inside the Pagelfon Tower. I hate to squelch.
What in Relga's name happened here?
The gods only know. But you can bet these poor sods aren't here by choice.
Quickly! We've got to get them free!
Oh dear.
Get back!
No! What have I done?
It's too late for them. We're leaving, now!
No! No! Don't you dare! We came together and we're leaving together!
back. Landing pad. Ooh. Okay, I'm not finishing the stream here, but I do need to take a quick break to the bathroom. But I'm going to be back in just a minute or two. You can enjoy the old ambience. And I'm back. Apologies for that. Just remind me that I do need to set up a be right back screen at some point. I'll just grab a drink from my fridge while I'm here. In standby mode. Yeah, I've been meaning to set up a be right back screen for a while, just in case like stuff like that comes up. If I need to step away from the stream for any reason. There we go. But anyway, onwards, because we're not finished the patch yet. Oh, wait, no, I do need that. I don't need the chat box anymore. Alphino? While it would be too much to hope that we have seen the last of Fandaniel, we have dealt his schemes a telling blow this day, and that alone is cause to celebrate. Hello? Is that someone I know? Celebrate I will, when we've received word of Arenvald's safe return. I'll take the critical hit one, because critical hit is nice and shiny. When the dust settles. Standing around here worrying is not going to help matters. Come, we must discuss today's events with Pippin and her grace. Brave sounds! Who is this? Oh, it's the Sultana herself. Your Grace. Would that I could treat you to a hero's welcome. I bear urgent news from the frontistery. What kind of news? Your Grace, whatever's the matter. As our troops withdrew from Pagalfan, they came upon the 2 scouts sent to the nearby tower. I have yet to hear a full account, but it seems that one of them, your friend, I believe, had been wounded and was being dragged away by the other. Arenvald? Oh no. I must go. Forgive me, Your Grace. Alphino. Can you tell us aught of Arenvald's condition, Your Grace? The wounded scout. Not safe that it is grave. The chirurgeons tend to him even as we speak. The infirmary must be inundated with the wounded. If all of us go, we'll only get underfoot. Sorin, Stinian, would you mind going after Alphino? He may need some support from someone other than me. Of course. Very well. Thank you. The rest of us will see that the relevant people know what took place in Pagalfan. Come on then. He's okay. Oh. Actually, I think it is the Hustine strip I need to go to. There's no one online on the in the FC. I'm kind of just wondering, did I just draw the attention of random Just a random cat girl. I've seen Sari has popped up a few times before, but I know Mooney's at work at the moment. And I know Nam is a bunny girl, so I don't know who that is. I take it Alphino is fond of Arnvold. Sorry, I mean, it just confuses me when stuff like that happens. Because it doesn't feel like it happens like a lot of randomly people take interest in you as a male hero character. Fond is one way to put it. They became good friends during everything that happened in Alamigo. I know how he feels, but hand-wringing isn't going to help anyone. You'd better have a word. Right. Fordola. Instead of standing there gobbing, why didn't you tell your friend to stop whining like an underfed dog? People are fighting for their lives in there. Alphino? Please, tell me something. Anything. Another one come to see the lad in silver armor. Master D'Amelio is attending to him as we speak. If you would be so kind as to wait. What did Master D'Amelio say? Tell me his exact words. Yeah, so Sorin, I don't think would feel the need to be firm, but yeah, kind of the point is like let them do their job. Alphino, you have to let them work. We're not helping. But you're right. Forgive me. When we said our farewells to Arnvold, I was afraid that something like this might happen. But now that it has, all we can do is wait.
Fordola, have you been waiting here all this time?
Is that?
We have done what we can. The rest is up to him.
May we see him?
Good use, right? He's holding in there.
I do not think that wise. You must let him sleep.
He's alive, Alphino. He'll recover.
Thank you for bringing him back. He owes you his life. I just wish I had been there. Perhaps, I don't know. Perhaps I could have...
Could have what? Got tempered? Don't flatter yourself. You can't save everyone. No one can. Not even the warrior of bloody light. People die all the time, for no good reason. And those who take up the sword die quicker than most. If you're going to shed a tear every time a soldier falls on the battlefield, you'd best stay away. It's no place for the weak of heart.
It may be that victory cannot be won without cost. But all life is precious, and I refuse to shrug at its loss.
All life is precious! Oh, you need to grow up, little man. Before your sparkling ideals get everyone killed.
You're right. He is idealistic. But the world has more than its fair share of realists, like you and me. It's people like him who dare to dream that things could be better, and make it happen against all the odds. They are the ones whose names live on forever. The heroes.
The battlefield's littered with would-be heroes. At this rate, you'll lot'll be next. And what'll become of your precious dreams then? They'll be gone. Like dust on the wind.
Dreams worth fighting for don't die so easily.
No. You doing okay? I know. There's nothing more I can do here. Come, let us rejoin the others. Her Grace invites the Scions of the Seventh Dawn to join her in the Fragrant Chamber. Your comrades have already arrived. Will the three of you be joining them? We will. We will. He'll be okay. The silent nod exchange. Sorry to keep you.
Your Grace, pray forgive us our lateness.
Think not of that. I understand a close comrade of yours was wounded in the line of duty. Arenvold. It was at the Alliance's behest that he risked all, and we are grieved to hear of his condition. Rest assured, he will receive the finest care our chirurgeons can provide. On that you have my word. Now, we would share with you the findings of the mission.
Right.
Pippin, pray relate to our guests the details of Fordola's account.
That's...
First Bahamut, now Ifrit. Or Lunar Ifrit, as Fandaniel would doubtless have it.
'Tis now all but certain that the towers were conceived to facilitate the summoning of primals by those imprisoned within.
But why?
Less certain is the means by which the Telophoroi constrain the wills of said entities to enact their designs in defiance of the pleas of their victims.
Mayhap they do not. If mere proximity to the towers is enough to make loyal servants of the Empire's mortal enemies, it stands to reason that the same is true for those held captive. They invoke their gods for the good of Garlemald, and in their disturbed state of mind, summon a primal whose form reflects their own alteration.
That's...
It all begins to make sense. Upon closer inspection, I realized that the towers bear a striking resemblance to a much larger structure which Urianger and I observed from afar during our visit to the Imperial capital.
Do you mean...
Assuming it too is capable of tempering those in its immediate vicinity, it would go some way to explain the swiftness with which the Telophoroi managed to rally so many Imperials to their cause.
While the situation in Garlemald is indeed troubling, I fear we have more immediate concerns. Ifrit was not the only primal summoned. At approximately the same time, observers at several other towers bore witness to the emergence of further such entities.
That's... We take one down and...
For a blessing, none appear to wield aught approaching the destructive power of Bahamut, and the Grand Companies are moving to deal with the threat even as we speak.
That's... some comfort, I guess. But if there are primals about, Your Grace, I'm ready to go anytime.
Though we are aware that the task will not be easy, we would call upon the Scions only as a last resort. Pray, conserve your strength for now. After all, it was not so very long ago that you rid us of Bahamut. On which note, I am pleased to report that our talks with the Amalja have reached an agreeable conclusion. They have pledged their full support to our cause. It is our hope that this historic agreement will encourage other tribes to join us at the negotiating table. And I know that I speak for all of the Allied leaders when I say that we will welcome them with open arms at such time as they do. Of course, this was only made possible by the feats of heroism performed at Paglfan. Moreover, we shall not allow the sacrifices of those fallen in battle to have been made in vain. As hope leads to victory, shall victory lead to a new dawn for Eorzea.
May these words ever be our guide, Your Grace.
Some good news anyway.
Now, if you will forgive me, I must consult with the Syndicate on the matter of our new allies' integration. Till next we meet, my friends, I bid you safe travels and blessed respite.
Thank you, Your Grace. Alphino. Though we won our first battle against the Telophoroi and made significant discoveries to boot, the war has scarcely begun. We must steel ourselves to what lies ahead. Right then. Unless anyone has any objections, I think it's about time we return to the Rising Stones. Right. Maybe that would be best. That includes you, Alphino. Arnvold is in good hands here. Of course. He would doubtless mock me for pacing about the infirmary. Let us retire then, that we might regain our strength and readiness for the coming challenges. If all are in agreement, then... I shall let Kral know to expect us. A hot bath and a hearty meal shouldn't be beyond arranging with the time available. It will be good to be home. I have some thinking to do. Yes, I'll try asking him. Thank you. I shall look forward to it. Our comrades eagerly await our return, and Krile, in particular, has a few matters she is keen to discuss. One of which concerns you, Estinian, believe it or not. You will join us, won't you? Fine. Really? I thought you said you were avoiding that Valdesian woman. I refused, she would only pursue me. Let's get this over with, shall we? So I feel I might actually finish up once this quest is finished. I feel that's the end of part 1. Kind of wanted to do the entire one, but it's looking. I feel it. I feel the second half is shorter, but I do remember there's a fairly hefty instance in it. And plenty of cutscenes and such. Maybe it's better waiting? Worst case scenario, if it does end up being short on Friday, I can combine it with the new job.
Welcome back. I expect you must all be exhausted. Ere you take your rest, however, I would beg a moment of your time.
Of course.
Thanks to Arenvold's selfless efforts, we may now be confident that we understand the function of the towers. But many questions remain regarding the reason for the summonings, and what lurks behind the looming edifice in Garlemald. Until such questions are answered, we will struggle to devise an effective strategy for thwarting the Telophoroi's stated aim. Nothing less than the destruction of this star. And so, given the gravity of the situation, I move that we petition the aid of Sharlayan.
Sharlayan? Don't they have a policy of non-interference?
It is possible the ancient knowledge preserved within their archives may hide a clue to our enemy's methods. But given Sharlayan's established policy of non-intervention, our former colleagues are not like to aid us in its discovery.
Oh, I well remember what they're like. The Forum's barefaced refusal to assist you in the days prior to the calamity must rank as Sharlayan's most shameful act since the Exodus. But were the final days to be reenacted, it would spell doom for us all. Surely even they cannot turn a blind eye to that. I trust we are all of the same mind on this matter. Urgent as it seemed, I took the liberty of petitioning the Alliance for leave to act as Eorzea's emissary, and have since received their blessing.
I presume your role as a student of Baldessian will carry some weight with the Forum?
One can but hope. If truth be told, our organization has been a shadow of its former self ever since the disappearance of the Isle of Val. But the name does still retain some degree of prestige. I only pray it will be enough. If there are no objections, I shall depart for Sharlayan at once. But before I do, I should also mention the other matter to which I would devote some time during my stay.
Other matter?
After hearing what transpired in the first, I began to question the true nature of Hydaelyn's blessing. A topic I have discussed at some length with Y'shtola.
We were wondering, when was the last time Hydaelyn spoke to you directly?
The last... When was that? I was in the Crystarium, I guess, but if we believe Elidibus, that wasn't really speaking to me. That was background noise that's always there. Otherwise... I don't think it's been since the Dragonsong War.
When you regained her blessing, was it not? But never since. Not in all your time in the First, when you faced the Unsundered, the very heart of Zodiark.
History shows us that Hydaelyn is able to awaken the echo in her chosen, convey her will directly, and grant the blessing of light. To our knowledge, however, she has not sought to intervene in man's affairs for some considerable time.
Might not the explanation for that lie with her choice of champion? Mayhap she is content to trust in his judgment.
That's a lot of pressure to feel. Hydaelyn herself
Mayhap she is. But following my initial discussion with Krile, I made inquiries of my own. And as far as I am able to tell, Hydaelyn has not made her will known to anyone.
During my time in the First, the Oracle of Light spoke to me through Reen. But that was not the will of Hydaelyn. It was Minfilia herself.
Indeed. And while she and Hydaelyn were inextricably linked, Minfilia yet acted of her own volition. A messenger, yes, but one who spoke with her own voice.
I wonder, could Hydaelyn's silence suggest the presence of some disruptive force, perhaps? Some obstacle to communication? While I share Urianger's high opinion of your conduct, I see no reason why she would deny you her guidance altogether. Then again, who am I to say? The fact is, we simply don't know. But if the explanation is to be found anywhere, I can think of worse places to look than the archives of Sharlayan, and their research on the Ethereal Sea in particular. Resolved though I am to go, believe me when I say that I take no pleasure in the thought of leaving you a member short. Now of all times. Estinian, we stand on the eve of a struggle that will decide the fate of this star. One in which we Scions may play a telling part, yet we are but few in number. And so I must ask you again, will you join us?
How can Estinian say no to those eyes?
You see the world the way you want it to be. I see the world the way it is. You are idealistic to a fault. But I know you would never turn your back on those in need. Never close your eyes to their suffering. And somehow, your deeds lend truth to your words, giving the lie to my doubts in so doing. I have seen others draw strength from your belief. In Ishgard, in Alamigo, you inspired them to stand up and fight. To win, no less. And even when you lost those you held dear, you carried their spirit with you and made their memory your guiding light. The burden of so many hopes and dreams would be too heavy for most to bear.
I feel I need to take back what I said about Estinian not being eloquent.
But you bear it willingly. As you have shown me, some dreams are too important to let go. If you have need of my strength, it's yours. After all you've done, how could I refuse?
Thank you, Estinian. Whatever challenges await us, I shall not falter. You have my word.
And now, I may bid you farewell. Safe in the knowledge that all is as it should be. In this little corner of the world, at least.
You will be sorely missed. Tread warily in Charlian, and do try not to let the Forum embroil you in their politics. A forlorn hope, I know, given the individuals involved.
I shall do my very best. Farewell.
Stay safe, Kryl. Oh, your head's fine. Oh. Hopefully it'll pass soon enough, Minnie. Oh. Meanwhile, in the Imperial Palace. Oh, he's got an ironworks spear there. I've only just noticed. Oh, and an ironworks Dark Knight sword.
Well, does this one meet with your approval? Apparently not. Or could it be that you're still upset about the dragons?
You are unwise to remind me of so costly a failure. It will not affect our plans, I trust.
Oh, hardly at all. Though, admittedly, the chances of us being able to procure any more Mericidian dragons are rather slimmer following Tiamat's reappearance.
Kind of... It does make Van Daniel a bit of a fun... Like, I know he's not a sidekick, he's kind of like leading up this project as much as Xenos is, if not more. But it's kind of fun that his lack of concern for his own life in terms of, I'm gonna annoy Xenos because if he kills me, I don't care, that works for me too.
Oh, but the seeds have been sown, my lord. We have only to wait for them to quicken. Speaking of preparations, is it safe to assume that you will be ready to control you-know-what?
The hour draws nigh. This nation, forged for Ascian ends, will finally prove its worth.
A mighty empire, now no more than an instrument of this star's destruction. What a pleasure it will be to put it to use. Which brings me back to our earlier topic. My lord, while I appreciate that it is not an easy decision, it really is past time you chose your weapon.
There is one that I have been meaning to test.
Well, well, not quite what I was expecting, though I will say, it does seem rather apt.
Well, it looks like I'm going to have a busy few moons. Not that they ever seem to be anything but. Thancred's got me dispatching troops to every corner of the realm, which is not to say I don't trust the Alliance, because I do. When it comes to putting down primals, nobody does it better than us. Well, than you lot, more accurately. You won't catch me trading blows over primal in the near future. But for every fell fiend you vanquish, there's countless meals to arrange, baths to fill, sheets to wash, stores to replenish, and the list goes on. Which is where I come in. And gladly, mind you. It's the least I can do to support the scions who risk life and limb. Like poor Arenvald. Oh, I wish there was something we could do for him, but we'll just have to settle for saying the odd prayer and keeping a roof over our heads. It wouldn't do to have him come back to a complete shambles now, would it? But that's enough of my rambling. Off you go and get some rest. If there are any developments, I promise you'll be the first to know. Thank you, Tataru. Okay, yeah, I feel I probably don't have the time to do the second half of Death Unto Dawn. So I'll have to leave that till Friday. Again, depending on how long it is, I might be able to kind of combine that with doing the new job quests. So I can still have the first Final Fantasy stream next week starts Endwalker. But I'll have to see closer to the time. So, with all that said, I am going to finish up here. And, well, as usual, thank you so much for coming along. I really hope you enjoyed. I won't be streaming here tomorrow, but I'll be back on Thursday with more Persona 3 Reload as the promised day approaches. And I will avoid fighting the Reaper this time. And then, yeah, should be back to Final Fantasy XIV on Friday. But until then, thank you so much for coming along. I really hope you enjoyed. And until the next stream, have a good evening, have a good night, and goodbye.